Hi everyone, LiberAnarchy here, responding to the Seaside Atheist. She made a video called Tell, wherein oh by the way, thanks for the shout out, she talks about another YouTuber who suggests that people who are bisexual shouldn't tell anybody that they are bisexual if they are asked. And Seaside Atheist disagrees, and I have a slightly different take on it. Sometimes the people that are asking are trying to out you or trying to embarrass you, and sometimes the correct response is none of your fucking business. Or, why are you asking me about what I do in the bedroom? Or, are you heterosexual? Or something with an attitude, because that's really none of their business. Okay? I realize this is a little bit defensive, but in high school, and I know that was high school, there were people who would be like, I think she's a lesbian. Granted, they were probably doing that to other people that they thought were perfectly heterosexual and all that, but the point is, these aren't people that are thinking about coming out to a friend. They're not people who actually have questions or are interested in any sort of like dialogue. Like, well, in church they told me that gay people eat the poo poo but I actually want to hear it from the horse's mouth. I mean, do you really do that? And no, by the way. But I mean, there are people who do that, but that's way off topic, and I don't want to talk about that on my channel. That's pretty gross, but my point is, you do have a lot of situations where you don't have somebody who's interested in any kind of dialogue, or are asking for a date, like, hey, let's meet up for coffee or something, or this. So yeah, sometimes it is perfectly right to say, well, that's none of your business, or to come off with something sarcastic. Well, yes, I am, but you're really not my type. I'm sorry. Turn the person down. If make them embarrassed. Basically, it's turn the tables. Yes, it's defensive. I get it. I know, and I don't think this is appropriate for every time anyone asks. Okay, but yeah. So I think that it's legitimate to have that in your repertoire, because frankly, a lot of times it is none of anyone's business. And if you're sensing some latent anger here, not at Seaside Atheist, but if you're sensing some latent anger here, yeah, because I mean, I've been an adult for a long time, and still there are occasionally people who they either assume things, or they just or they ask in the sense of like, well, gosh, they've heard rumors and they want to backstab, and they're da 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 da. And it's not, it has nothing to do, I mean, and you can just tell from a person's tone, it has nothing to do with anything other than something underhanded. Because it's like, you can tell from their tone they're going to go whisper about you to somebody else, and this is like college students, fellow employees, things like that. I mean, and I'm like, good grief. You're 25 and you're doing this? Really? Yeah. Now, on the other hand, I do agree that one should tell, if they're comfortable being out, of course, if somebody asks them that is trusted, honest. Because maybe you have a friend that is thinking of coming out, and they want to come out to you, or something. Or maybe you do have somebody who's asking you out on a date, but it's just, awkward. Or maybe you have somebody that's just curious because they're curious. I mean, they're a friend of yours and they're just, I'm just curious. Period. In the same way that I mean, I don't know. I mean, I might see like, oh, I don't know, a triangle in somebody's icon, and maybe it's not like rainbow or pink or black, etc. And I might just send him a PM. Just curious, what does that triangle mean? Is that like, a symbol of pride, or is that like a pyramid, or something like that? And it wouldn't be like, oh, I want to find out about your personal life so I can make fun of you or fire you or something. Yeah. And the reason I think it's better to tell in cases where somebody is being genuine is to show people who may not understand that we're flesh and blood human beings. We're capable of going to school, holding down jobs, carrying on functional relationships. We're not just drag queens, for example. That's one stereotype of gay people, that they're all effeminate, that they're all drag queens, and of course nothing against drag queens, mind you, but it does a lot to combat the stereotypes. It's like, well, I actually consider myself pansexual, but point being, how do I say this? When I'm just interacting with people, people see, oh, I'm a human being. I'm not some crazy, rabid person who's out to recruit people. Because there are, obviously, people who lie and encourage the stereotypes and try to make people afraid of LGBT people. And it's kind of, I think the transgender thing is a little more frustrating, because it's, well, for a lot of reasons, but socially it's like the only transgender people that most people are familiar with are what is shown in the media. The people on the talk shows that are throwing chairs and yelling at each other over stupid things, cheating on each other. People who are acting in rather destructive, dysfunctional, or just comical ways, right? And so if I try to tell people that I guess genderqueer would be the best label for me, people aren't just going to say, oh, okay, so internally you don't conform to all the norms of the culture, okay, whatever, let's get on with life, cool, whatever. People are going to be like, wait a minute, what? And that automatically the people are going to wonder, are you on drugs? Are you a prostitute? Are you a person who's just an attention seeker? A drama whore? Are you super promiscuous and just like really, really kinky? I mean, there's lots of probably more negative stereotypes of transgender and genderqueer people. But yeah, because so if you tell somebody who's being genuine, I think just since the person knows you as a person before they know you as a label, then it's a good thing. Basically, you have an opportunity to combat the stereotypes, and so you're making it hopefully one person easier for those of us who aren't exactly normal to carry on in the world. Okay, well, thanks for listening, and again, thanks for the shout out, and I'll link to Seaside Atheist's video down here, so if you want to sub to her, you can, still sub to her. It'll just take an extra click. There you go. And I will see you guys when I see you guys. By the way, I do owe one other person a video. Yeah, somebody who commented on my page a while back, and I'll get to that. And it's kind of weird looking at myself while I talk. That's why I'm like messing with my hair. I do that a lot in my videos, and I'm sorry because I know it's like it's rude. It looks vain and like, but anyway. On that nice coherent note, I will bid you all a fond farewell.